Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Booktube Chicks Book Club. Tonight we are discussing our April read, which was We Deserve Monuments by Jazz Hammonds. As usual, I am here with my amazing co-host Kathleen. And if you've never done one of our live shows before, the way that it's going to work is for the first 5 to 10 minutes or so, we're going to have spoiler-free first thoughts on the book and our rating, and then we will go into more spoiler territory. So, Kat, if you want to start.
Yes. So I've known about this book. It's been out for a few years and it was really hyped when it came out. And it's always been on my queue to read, on my TBR to read, but I never picked up. I stopped reading YA for a while. And this is a YA book. Um, I heard a lot of good things about this book. It was very hyped when it first came out, and the reviews, if you go on Goodreads, it's actually very highly rated as well. To be honest, I wasn't really sure what to expect going into this. I know it talks a lot about like racial discrimination and topics like that. So I that's as far as I knew. But as far as the story, didn't really know what I was getting myself into. I did like the book. I rated it 4 stars. I think it talks about really important topics like racial discrimination. It also talks about LGBTQ plus topics as well. One of our main characters is in that the LGBTQ plus community, and I really enjoyed how real the characters were. I'm not usually a critical reader, so I'm during this live, I'm not really gonna talk about the criticisms or whatever in this book, just because I'm not a critical reader, never been one. But I did really like the story. I liked the family dynamics. I liked that it touched upon not just her friendship, her relationships. It touched upon also her how should I say this? Her view of the world. And it because she's moving from, I think she's from New York. I'm not quite sure. And then she moves down to Georgia because her grandmother is sick and they're coming to kind of um, just take care of the grandmother. And so they're coming into a whole new world, a whole different sort of society, and the way people react to each other as far as racial issues. And I did like how the book portrayed that. I can't speak for this community, but I did like that. To me, it felt realistic. So I did give this book 4 stars. I think it's a very good book. It definitely deserved all the hype, and it's definitely worthy of all the attention that it got, especially when it first came out. So yeah, I really, really like this book.
Yeah, I my first memory of hearing about this book was actually we were at Y'all Fest, either like 2022 or 2023, I can't remember. Um, and one of the authors during like the final event recommended this book to the whole crowd. So that was the first that I had heard of this book. And then I ended up getting it from the Libro FM ALC program around the time that it came out. So it's been on my TBR for a while. Since then, however, I'm in the same boat of I don't read a lot of YA anymore. And a lot of the reasons I don't read YA anymore is I just don't care. Like a lot of the issues are not issues that I have anymore or issues that I relate with anymore because I'm not in the age group that YA is meant for, which is totally fine. However, there are still some really good YAs out there, this one included. Even though I cannot relate to a lot of things in this discussed in this book, it's still a really good book, and I enjoyed it while I was reading it. Um, I gave it 4 stars. I didn't take any notes, however, I did write a kind of disjointed review on it, so I'm going to kind of be referring to that. Um, and as Kat said, it does cover a lot of really important topics for both the POC community as well as the LGBT plus community. Um, so yeah, I guess we can go into spoilers now. Um, there's a lot of family dynamics here, um, connecting with your roots, and trying to understand familial history, for our main character. That being said, it was like heartbreaking how much her relationship with her mom deteriorated as they were in this stressful situation. And there were actually times that her mom frustrated me.
Yeah, I agree. Especially that scene when I think it was when her mother caught that she had gone out, or it
Mhm.
was the Renaissance, the prom
Yeah.
or whatever it was, and then she was supposed to get back at a certain time, and she got back really really late, and her mom blew up at her, and then I don't quite remember if it was the same scene or if it was a different scene, but her mom said that people had told her that they caught her and the other girl kissing, and her mom just flew off the handle. Um, I was quite surprised by how much her mom like pissed me off. I
Yeah.
thought her mom would be more of like an understanding mom, but I feel like her mom was so worried about what other people think that she just kind of let her emotions and her frustrations, she took it out on her daughter, and I was like, that was very sad scenes to read.
Oh, are you thinking of the friend's mom? Um,
Wasn't
Simone.
her mom the one that blew up on her because they were Caucasian? Maybe I
Well,
misremembering. I
her mom
remember her mom got mad at her because they were caught kissing or somebody, I don't remember.
her mom blew up because they were gone out
Right,
all
that I
night,
remember
didn't know
that.
where they were. The neighbor who's missed something, whose name is I cannot remember, who was the mom of Simone,
Mhm.
blew up on both of them for kissing. Um, because she, even though her and Avery's mom
But
had,
wasn't her mom the one who said that you are being like a bad influence? You're making my daughter be like a lesbian, a bad influence as far like having lesbian tendencies. I thought that was her mom who
I
said
thought
that
that
to her.
was the friend's mom. I know it all happened in the same scene.
Yeah, I
And I
don't.
don't have the book anymore. I returned it to the library,
I
so I
don't know.
can't even refer back. Um,
Um,
well, it did frustrate me that Simone's mom thought that she was like all high and mighty now
because didn't her mom have like some sort of like gay relationship with another woman when
with the
she was
neighbor.
young? So it was like hypocritical of her to be upset with her daughter.
That was yes, with the neighbors, with the neighbor who was Simone's mom, her friend.
Right.
Yeah, and it was her friend's mom that was like saying that she is a child of God and this, that, and
Oh,
the other. So that part also frustrated me. However, I'm like in the same boat with them staying out like all night. It's like you were trusted while your parents went out of town to spend some time together. You were told to be back by 11 o'clock so that the nurse could go home.
right.
And it's like you choose to stay out all night instead. That part frustrated me because I was like, your parents have trusted you to do this, and you can't
I
even
know,
do
but at the same time, they're also like teenagers, and they were like,
that's
it's
true
kind of,
too.
it was like what, like a prom night sort of thing. I mean, you can't realistically expect teenagers on a big night like that to come back home at 11 p.m.
Was it prom night?
I don't know. It was some big party though. I feel like.
I remember it was like there was the weekend of Halloween, and they went to the Halloween like carnival dressed as pirates, and that's where they got caught kissing.
Mhm.
And then but the person who caught them was like the siblings of another friend who they weren't friends with by the end of the book. Um, and the siblings told the mom, who then told who was the boss of the other mom, and told her. It's a lot of different characters in this book to make all the connections.
It is. That's the one thing like about this book is that there's a lot of characters. And I'm not gonna lie, as someone who forgets names very easily, there was just too many characters for me to remember. I remember Avery, I remember uh Grandma Letty, and and then Simone, and then beyond that I kind of forgot most people's name.
So let's talk about the like unexpected part of this book for me was that there was a mystery subplot, which I was definitely not expecting. Um, I enjoyed that Avery continued to try and get Mama Letty to open up more about the familial history, find out about her grandfather, this, that, and the other. And because she was committed to that, we do find out that her grandfather was murdered.
Right.
And there's also it's not a mystery who murdered him in there. However, the other mystery is that there was a person in the community murdered who was like the mother of somebody at Avery's school. And the rumor was that the husband killed her. But it was never proven.
Right.
We do find out by the end how she died.
Yeah.
Which, okay, you read a lot of thrillers. I don't. I am the type of person where I will not see the twist coming at all.
I generally don't. And this one took me by surprise.
Yeah. I'm an idiot when it comes to plot twists. This one too. So when Avery is sorting through Mama Letty's things after she passes away, she finds the gun, and I think there was a note with it too. So I was not expecting there to be a murder mystery subplot in what other is just like a regular like fiction book. So I kind of wish we had a little bit more after that. Because I can't remember if it was ever proved that the husband who was assumed to be the killer was the son or grandson, I think son, of the people who killed Mama Letty's husband.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was ever like said that it was for sure or if it was just assumed.
I think it was just assumed.
Okay.
But I don't remember if it was ever like I said, this book, there was so much. I feel like this book had so much happening.
Yeah.
And this was one where you definitely have to take down notes if you want to remember all the different little plot twists.
And it basically all like her Mama Letty's husband being murdered all ties back to the clan, but we don't know if that actual husband is a descendant of the people who killed him.
Right.
It's just it was so good, and it definitely deserves all the hype. However, there are so many little like subplots layered within.
Yeah. And then in the end, they also ended up, like we talked about, it ended up revealing that Mama Letty was the one that murdered the lady. I forgot her name.
I don't remember her name either.
I was like, there's just so much. And then they throw that at the very ending, and I'm like, oh God. And then Avery is the one who knows, and she decides not to tell anybody. And I was like, okay, gonna take it to her grave.
The plot's like right at the end. It actually reminds me of a book that I read a couple of years ago, a romance book called My Darling Venom, where it was a long book. It was a really good book, but right at the end, like literally like the last 2 pages, like a huge bomb is dropped, and then the book is over, and it's like, okay. Okay, let's see. I did like the plot points of Avery navigating who she is in this new environment. Um, moving from DC. Um,
Oh, it was DC. Okay.
yeah, and I only remember because she got nicknamed DC by somebody at the school.
Okay.
Um, so moving from DC to a more rural Georgia um, is definitely, I don't know if I want to call it a culture shock, but a culture shock for lack of a better term. Um, and she's trying to navigate what her life is now, um, especially while now living in her grandmother's home, grandmother that she's met her, but she was young enough that she can't remember it. So she's essentially never met her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and just trying to, I think, I don't want to say she's trying to find who she is because I think Avery is very confident in who she is. But just trying to navigate this new environment and reveal more information about her past.
Yeah, I think she definitely had, obviously as the main character, she for me had the best character development because you kind of see her come to Georgia. She's expecting for everything to be a certain way. She's excited to meet her family, to or to get to know her family, and but she doesn't realize the kind of life that they live necessarily.
Mhm.
Or maybe she does know, but she hasn't, I feel like, maybe experienced it for herself, really what it's like to live in a sort of southern
Mhm.
state that has such a history of um, racism, the kind of racism that we see in the books and see on TV kind of thing. Um, and I kind of like the way she matured. And not only that, not only she in navigating her family, the family dynamics, the family secrets, the family history, the family history with the place that they live, but also like her own sexuality and how to explain that to her family and her mom. And I think she had a really good character development, and I think, yeah, I think she was written very well by the by Jazz, by the author, um, because I really enjoyed reading her growth throughout the book and how she reacted to the revelations, the things that she learned, not just about her family, but also about herself too.
Yeah, and I don't even think that she had to navigate her sexuality with her family so much because I
Hmm.
think her parents already knew. And I think as like Mama Letty knew like towards the beginning. Um but she definitely had to navigate it in a new environment, I
Hmm.
think. Although it didn't seem like it was a secret for her at school. At least while I was reading, I didn't get that impression. Um,
And it was also like, again, we're talking about a very southern state that
yeah.
has, again, history of racism. They're going to have a history of also being against the LGBT.
Mhm.
So yeah, though it was a lot of, it was a big change for her.
Yeah. I don't know if this author has released anything else since this one came out. I'm gonna pull up Goodreads here. Because this came out in 2022, which means November
Oh, was it?
2022. So that's probably when if it came out in November 2022, that might have been the Y'all Fest that it got recommended or we heard about it at. I couldn't remember because I know we stopped going eventually, and I can't even remember what year we stopped going. Okay. So it looks like this author has released one other book in 2024. Let's see. Okay, this one it's still considered a young adult, however, it is more moving more towards the new adult stage. It's the summer before college. Um and it looks like it's some kind of sorority book. Um, all that to say, do you think you would read more from this author?
Yeah, just because I really did like this book. Can you read the summary, the description of that book?
Yeah. Okay, so it's called Thirsty. It's the summer before college, and 18-year-old Blake Brenner and her girlfriend Ella have one goal: join the mysterious and exclusive Serena Society. The sorority promises status and lifelong connections to a network of powerful, trailblazing women of color. Ella's acceptance is a sure thing. She's the daughter of a Serena alum. Blake, however, has a lot more to prove. As a former loner from a working class background, Blake lacks Ella's pedigree and confidence. Luckily, she finds courage at the bottom of a liquor bottle. When she drinks, she's bold, funny, and unstoppable. And the Serenas love it. But as pledging intensifies, so does Blake's drinking until it's seeping into every corner of her life. Ella assures Blake that she's fine. Partying hard is what it takes to make the cut, but success has never felt so much like drowning. With her future hanging in the balance and her past dragging her down, Blake must decide how far she's willing to go to achieve her glittering dreams of success, and how much of herself she's willing to lose in the process. It also has a high rating. The We Deserve Monuments has a 4.27. This one has a 4.04.
Okay. Um, yeah, I was just wondering if this is also like the other book where it touches upon like heavy subjects like racism. It looks like this touches more on
Alcoholism.
alcoholism and pressure
Yeah.
for success, um, or pressure about your future, things like that. I think, yeah, I would definitely read it. It actually sounds really good.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like there's anything else scheduled from this author. This came out in 2024.
Okay.
I'm looking on her Instagram, but there's not really much. Um, I don't know. I would definitely add that to my want to read on Goodreads. I mean, obviously, it took me 3 years, 4 years to get to We Deserve Monuments.
That's
Um,
generally normal
yeah,
though. How many books
yeah,
have I bought that are sitting in my shelves years later?
yeah. But I am glad that we were finally able to read it after taking a recommendation from Y'all Fest many
Yeah.
years ago. I can't even
Yeah.
remember who said it. I feel like it was like Soman Janani, maybe.
Or
But I don't know.
I don't know, but yeah, it was
Definitely,
definitely, I think it was definitely during one of the panels that we went.
yeah.
I
It was like
agree.
during the SmackDown, I think. Definitely, like if you're looking for a more hard hitting book, or something that hits a lot of tough subjects, especially in present time, I definitely recommend picking
Yeah.
this book up.
Yeah.
Um, so do we want to go ahead into final thoughts?
Sure. Um, excuse me. So this is a book that I've been meaning to read ever since it came out. Again, it was very, very hyped when it first came out. Um, a lot of authors were talking about it. A lot of prominent authors were talking about. A lot of people. I think this was the days that I was still watching a lot of YouTube, like BookTube, not necessarily book talk. So it was very talked about on BookTube. So I there are so many booktubers who were talking about it, and again, very, very hyped. Everybody on internet was talking about it, and I always wanted to read it, but I guess because eventually I just gradually stopped reading YA. I never really picked up the book. But I'm very glad I did this time. It was very hard hitting. It does speak on tough subjects, like racism, stereotyping. um it does mention like some very bad things that happened um because of those subjects. It also talks about, the negative stereotypes against LGBT, and the non-acceptance of LGBTQ plus people. So there is a lot of of that. So there is, if that is too touchy for you, I would recommend reading a more in-depth trigger warning list for this book. However, I think it was done very well. I can't speak as someone who experienced these things to that level, but I really liked the book. I think it was done well. I liked the main character. I think I spoke about it a little bit, but I did like her development throughout this book. She came in as someone who is new to the area. Um, she's moving from DC to Georgia, who is a very traditionally very, very southern state, especially in terms of like the racism and yeah, but this was, I think it was a hard-hitting book, but I think again it was done well and I enjoyed a lot of it, and I liked that there was just enough romance, enough of these hard-hitting topics, and enough of the little bit of mystery that we got, and the author really tried to mash it all together. I do think that there was too many characters. For me, again, I'm not a critical reader. I like to read books because I just want to read them. So I don't really take notes down when I read books. And I think this is a book that's definitely warrant a more in-depth reading and taking notes down and really understanding the smaller details that are sprinkled throughout the book, because I feel like it will make your reading experience more, how should I put this, more enjoyable, not necessarily enjoyable, but you might understand a little bit more of what the author is trying to get out there, the message that the author is trying to get out there. So I did give this book 4 stars. Again, I think I just rated it less because there was just too many characters for me to keep up with. And I tend to forget names very easily. So there was a lot. I know who people are, but I think I forgot just the names of a bunch of people, but I really like this book and I will definitely read the other book by this author.
Yeah, overall, I enjoyed this book while I was reading it. I give it 4 stars. I'm definitely glad that um, I listened to a recommendation from Yellfest. Uh, and I also think I will read the other book by this author. Um, Even though I don't read a lot of YA anymore, or it's less than 10 every year now, I'm glad that I read it. It definitely touches on a lot of hard hitting topics. So I definitely recommend reading content warnings before diving into this book. But overall, I enjoyed it and I am glad that I read it. So we're going to go ahead and talk about next month. Let me pull up my little list here. And I don't have a copy of the book yet, which is kind of surprising for me. Because we're going to be reading The Escape Game by Marissa Meyer and Tamara Moss. This is, I believe it's the first in a series. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it is a thrillery book. Marissa Meyer is an auto-buy author for me, so I do read everything that she releases, and I'm very excited for this one. It kind of gives me vibes of like the Inheritance Games
Yeah, I
series.
was thinking that
Yeah.
too.
And I really
I don't think it's a thriller. I think it's more of like
mystery.
mystery. Yeah.
I dig those like puzzle mysteries. Like that's
Yeah.
how the Inheritance Games was.
Yeah.
Um, excuse me.
Is it YA or is it
I
more
think it's
uh,
YA.
okay. Okay, that's interesting. Okay.
And then okay, I know we changed the date on this. Okay, so we're actually going to be discussing this book on Saturday, May 30th at 8 p.m. Eastern. So we had to do a slight adjustment just due to some plans that we have going on this month. Um, but I am so excited to read this book. I have been searching for this book from an indie bookstore and I have not been able to find it. I don't want to go to Barnes and Noble, but I might have to. Um, I am so excited for this book. The sprayed edges on it are so pretty, and I just love everything that Marissa Meyer does. So I'm very excited to pick this one up. So that'll be Saturday, May 30th. Um, We haven't solidified a Pages and Pals date for May yet, so stand by and take a look at our Instagram at Booktube Chicks. If you're not following us on there, definitely check it out. We're going to talk about everything that's related to the Booktube Chicks on Instagram, and we'll post about that. If you like reading romance books, the Quarterly Romance Book Club is meeting in 1 week. And that'll be on Desiree at Libri Labra's YouTube channel. We are reading Rules for Second Chances by Maggie North. And we are going to be in conversation with Elizabeth from Eli to the Nth on Instagram. So that'll be on May 3rd at 6 p.m. Eastern on Desiree's channel. So I think that's everything that we have going on. We talked about the next book that we're reading, Pages and Pals, we're still working on a date, and Quarterly Romance Book Club is meeting next week. So that is everything that we have for you all tonight. So thank you so much for joining us for discussing We Deserve Monuments by Jazz Hammonds. And we hope to see you guys next month as we discuss The Escape Game by Marissa Meyer and Tamara Moss. Bye.